Welcome again to this segment, the news segment on Venezuela Insider. Today is November 5 of 2025. So let's get with the news. Not too much going on the past 24 hours. The most important thing, the most relevant, is an article from the New York Times that, it's a hit and miss regarding the situation in Venezuela, and this piece won't be different. I'm sorry. According to the Times, the Trump is considering options in Venezuela. Is waging his options in Venezuela that go from airstrikes within Venezuelan soil, also using spec ops, special operations. We know already that he has some of those on the region, and also taking the oil fields of Venezuela. Okay, now, there is a position right now on the White House. You have the most hawkish members of the cabinet. Of course, the biggest one is Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State and National Security Advisor. But also, he locking arms with this position is his trusted advisor, Stephen Miller. That this hawkish part of the team is completely in favor of taking bold actions within the country against Maduro and his people. Okay? Now, Trump is more of a middle of the pack situation, according to the Times, that he wants to see results. Of course, he wants to fulfill his particular agenda in Venezuela, but is also considering the consequences, and that's completely understandable. And the first step of all of this military movement is, of course, a psychological pressure to Maduro and the people on the top brass of the Venezuelan government, and that started before the military movement, also designating the quote-unquote Cartel of the Suns as a terrorist organization, a specially designated terrorist organization. Also, when after that we watch Pam Bondi, the Attorney General of Trump, saying that raising the bounty to 50 million. We all remember that impactful event. And then, of course, we saw the military movement little by little, the destroyers, the Iwo Jima mini aircraft carrier, and now the big aircraft carrier, the USS Gerald Ford, and everything in between. Now, the other one of the main concerns, according to the Trump administration, is the government that will be in Venezuela post Maduro. The obvious choice is Maria Corina Machado, the opposition leader, and like I said, the only opposition leader. And of course, you have the president-elect Edmundo Gonzalez that was appointed by Maria Corina Machado. And the election, yeah, we're not gonna get into that today. And also, Trump is, according to the Times, is also considering the legal consequences and the legal framework in order to proceed with, in order to take military actions in Venezuela. And right now, the excuse, if you want to call it like this, is the drug dealing, the narco trafficking. That's the new weapons of mass destruction. If we recall the former State Secretary Colin Powell. And the other thing is, of course, since he designated these people, the Maduro and the top brass, as terrorists, quote unquote, he wants to use, the same playbook on the war of terror that was used by the W. Bush administration. So basically, treating like it's a Bin Laden, like it's Al Qaeda, things like that. Okay. Now, the first reaction we got from this of the administration, and the only one since I'm recording this video, is from the special envoy to Venezuela, Rick Grenell, that he disregarded the article and said that it's nothing more than an opinion piece, an op-ed from the Times. And actually, I agree with Grenell on that regard, but seems, very plausible, an opinion, regardless, but seems very plausible of what is being discussed in the White House today due to the circumstances. So yet again, we don't know what's going to happen, but yeah, we are just, reporting the news. Now, if you ask me regarding the piece, yet again, I agree with Renel. I think it's just an op-ed, a very, an educated guess of that the writer of the article took, and I think it's a very educated guess, but nevertheless, an opinion. I don't think they have inside people, the Times within the White House. And the other thing, if you ask me my opinion on what Trump is gonna do, is that I think Trump already made his decision because you are not gonna move all of this equipment that costs right now is like 5 to 6 billion US dollars. The cost of the operation right now today, and probably you're gonna see the double of that amount by the end or triple. I don't know, but I think they already have their decision. They already have their strategy, and right now we are just in the middle of on how this particular operation has been unraveling, if you ask me. Okay, let's go to a couple of other news. Business news in Venezuela. The juggernaut of communications, Telefónica, is very well known in Latin America and in Europe. The company is from Spain. They are poised to sell their operation in Venezuela via the company called Movistar. Movistar is the largest private communications company within Venezuela regarding cell phones and speed internet and things of that nature. Telefonica has been withdrawing from the rest of Latin America, and Venezuela is not going to be an exception. Actually, they were doubling down on their operations in Venezuela, but apparently, according to the CEO and the manager of the operations in Venezuela, they are going to sell their participation, their full operation to a third company. We don't know which company, but apparently there are a couple of takers. Now, the reasons why, financially, it was kind of a decent operation. It was good actually because they don't have a monopoly, but they are like the second, third most important company regarding cell phone communications in Venezuela. So it was a decent deal. And there are other reasons, speculations that I don't want to address today. Now, in news within the United States, we had the New York mayor election, and as it was projected, the socialist slash communist candidate from the Democrat Party, Sorhan Mandani, he was elected as the mayor of NYC. Mandami got a result, they got a little bit over 50% of the votes, 50.4% to be more accurate, against 41.6% of the runner-up that was the former governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo, and the Republican candidate, Curtis Silva, got barely 7%. So we knew that this is what's going to happen, so for me it's not shocking, just, giving up the news. And lastly, we have the today and tomorrow there will be a conference in Miami organized by the Adam Smith Center of Economic Freedom and the FYU, the Florida International University. Is an American business forum that has actually quite a roster, a gauntlet actually of speakers. And Maria Corina Machado, the opposition leader, will be there, most likely pitching their particular recovery of Venezuela and potential investments in the country. Other notorious attendees on this particular summit, on this particular forum, will be the President Donald Trump, the Argentinian President Javier Milei, the President of FIFA, the soccer NGO, Gianni Infantino, the CEO of JP Morgan, Jamie Dimon, and also celebrities that will be speaking, like the soccer player Lionel Messi, the tennis player Rafael Nadal, and the actor Will Smith. So, something interesting, take about. And that will be all for today. Remember, we're going to see each other tomorrow and see if we have more news or more analysis to give. Thanks again and have a nice day.